All right, that's everybody. Okay, we will move on to item 4.4, which is public comment. Pam, if you would read the public comment statement, please.
Because the board wants to hear the viewpoint of the public, we have scheduled time during the regular board meetings for these comments. The board has set aside an unlimited time for public participation prior to the business portion of each meeting on the first and third Wednesday of the month. The time for each speaker is limited to 3 minutes, and each individual is only recognized once. The board does not respond to comments or questions.
Thanks. I will call 2 folks up at a time. I'm apologizing in advance if I mispronounce or misread your name. We do have the timer working now, so what will happen is you'll have 3 minutes. I'll start the timer when you start speaking. You'll have a green light. When you have 30 seconds left, you'll have a yellow light, and I believe you'll hear a tone. And when you see that yellow light, you should start wrapping up. And then when your 3 minutes is up, you will get a red light and a tone, a beep sort of tone as well. So I'm hoping this works because we just got it fixed. All right, so first up I have Brady Fenderson and Nicole Fenderson. Brady, you can come on right up to the podium.
Hi, my name is Brady Fenderson. Thank you for having me, and I'm here. I go to Turner Middle School, and I'm here to discuss your decision to mandate masks for all of Thompson School District. So to get right into it, on the second week of school, when we had to start wearing masks, I personally was not wearing one. Since I wasn't wearing a mask, I was sent to the library. In the library, there was maybe 25-ish, 30 kids, all of which obviously not wearing masks. Once everyone was settled down, a lady from the district began her lecture. She said, "Nobody likes wearing masks, but we all have to wear one to keep everybody safe. By not wearing a mask, you could spread COVID and get someone else sick. That person could die, all because you didn't wear a mask." There was someone that asked the question, "I'm fully vaccinated, so why do I have to wear a mask?" And the answer was, most 6th graders cannot get the vaccine, and there are not enough 7th and 8th graders vaccinated, so we have to wear a mask to keep them safe. After that, she added, "That's great that you're vaccinated. We should have more people like you." Also, if you look at the first week of school, did you see the number of people not wearing masks? So I just want you to realize what people choose. And there was probably 95% of students and staff not wearing a mask. And so also, wearing a mask is scientifically proven that it's bad for you. While wearing a mask, you're breathing in carbon monoxide you are exhaling. We have to wear a mask 5 days a week, earned around 8 hours a day, which totals out to be 40 hours a week. That is 40 hours a week of breathing in carbon monoxide. I have a few questions. If masks are so effective and work so well, then why do we have to wear them almost 2 years after the beginning of COVID? And if you sat in a hot room wearing a mask for 40 hours a week, also, I like PE class, but it sucks to do PE while wearing a mask. And did you know that 99.97% of people survive COVID? I believe that the parents, students, and staff should have a say in what happens. That's all I have. Thank you for your time. Enjoy your day.
Hi, my name is Nicole Fenderson. I live in Berthoud. Thank you for having me tonight. Masks are currently only approved for emergency use only and not currently required by the Limerick County Health Department or Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment. It has been shown in many studies, even through the CDC, that masks in schools, especially those with younger children, are ineffective. We are causing more harm to our children emotionally and physically with the mask wearing and quarantining. When will we start paying attention to the suicide, substance abuse, and other problems and deaths occurring from these measures that far outweigh the deaths of COVID? These masks hinder the ability to breathe, focus, and learn. My kids continuously come home with headaches after a full day of wearing a mask at school. I'm told that there is no exception to wearing this mask unless they have a disability that is approved by the school. It's absolutely disgusting that not all children have the right to breathe freely. My child was pulled into the library at Turner and given a speech on how wearing a mask was the right thing to do. It's the only respectful thing to do, and that if he did not wear a mask, that he would be killing other people. Why would anyone ever say this to a child? Especially since it's been proven over and over again that the virus is completely able to get through both your mask and mine. Our children need to focus on their health and well-being. Why doesn't their voice on the harm these masks are doing to them not matter? Why aren't the schools and health departments out there telling people to get healthy, eat better, exercise, stop smoking, stop drinking, instead of just putting on a mask and getting vaccinated? Kids have been wearing masks in school now for 2 to 4 weeks this year, and the number of cases remain the same, which shows that masks are not working. If masks worked, why are the kids being forced to quarantine at home instead of going to school and wearing their mask? We need to stop threatening that schools will go online if cases go higher. Since when do schools close over kids being sick? They should stay home while sick and school goes on. It would be nice if the health departments would also start reporting on how many people are actually symptomatically sick, instead of just being told that they are sick from inaccurate tests. When given the choice, an overwhelming majority of the population chooses to not wear a mask. We should not be restricted by the few of you that are terrified of a virus that has a 99% recovery rate. Please stop telling us that we need you to keep us safe and protected. We do not need you to do this for us. We can take care of our own families. Please let our children go back to being children and being able to enjoy school and learning and activities, and stop trying to keep instilling fear in their lives. Please let them have the choice.
Next up is Laura Baldwin and then Nancy Rumfeld.
I would love to, but I feel like they'd kick me out because free choice doesn't exist.
Excuse me, ma'am, can you just do your,
I can.
thank you.
Can you guys see that on the screen okay? Okay, I'll just hold it. So I said last board meeting that I created, sorry, I'm Laura Baldwin, still not giving you your address, it's on the paper. I told you guys last meeting that I created a survey out of my own pocket. I have been desperately trying to get a good sample size. I've posted it on every community page I can come up with. I'm standing here now with it so that I can get both sides of the argument. I've had a lot of criticism that I'm only posting it on anti-mask places, and that is not accurate. So here, please take it. I created this on August 29th. As of yesterday, I had 556 responses. I can have up to 1,000, so please take the survey. My access to it expires on the 29th, so I will compile everything on the 29th. As of right now and throughout the last few weeks, it is held pretty strongly at a 60-40 split. 60% of people are against masking. That being said, when you look down at how it affects both health of students and staff, learning and social skills, those percentages change. So people seem to be saying that yes, we should wear a mask, but they acknowledge that it's detrimentally affecting health, learning, and social skills. So people are saying that we should have a mask mandate, not because they think it does anything, but because they're afraid of the threat that you guys are going to go back to at-home learning. And you guys are holding that over our heads so that we have this, that you guys have this fear tool to keep us in school. And that's not right. You guys are threatening to send our kids home or wear a mask. So the largest, as far as affecting health goes, 57% said overall, 57% said it's extremely not helpful to not helpful at all. 39% said that it was helpful, and 4% were neutral in that aspect. As far as affecting learning, 58% said that it was not effective, 12% said that it was effective or positive, and 30% were neutral. Within social skills, it was 61% negative, only 11% had positive things to say, and 29% were neutral. The largest group of respondents was in elementary school. That was 53% of our respondents. 63% of that portion of people said no masks. And the positive responses were much, much lower. Social skills 9% positive, learning 11% positive, and the negative effects opinion was higher in the upper 60s. So that's that. Also, one thing that I wanted to touch on real quick is drinking water. My kid has gone home twice because she misplaced her water bottle, and she doesn't have a cup at school, when she did have a cup at school.
Thank you, ma'am. Nancy Rumfeld, and then Lauren Jennings, and Nancy Rumfeld, Lauren Jennings, and it looks like Kaylee Anderson, maybe? I'm sorry if I...
On a QR code, because apparently they took it off the screen.
Go ahead, Nancy.
Madam Chair, members of the board, Dr. Scheer, thank you for allowing me to speak. It has been 6 years since I last stood at this podium to
Excuse me,
speak
Nancy.
to the...
Excuse me, Nancy.
Hey.
You're infringing on Nancy's time, and you're disrupting the meeting. Please sit down, ma'am. Please sit down. Thank you. I'll reset your time, Nancy. Hold on. Okay, go ahead.
It has been 6 years since I last stood at this podium to speak to the board. I was told repeatedly to trust the experts, to trust the board, and now 6 years later, we are still failing our kids. In 6 years, the budget has increased $50 million, student enrollment is flat, and the 29 CMAS scores show what? That the scores are lower. Fourth graders have gone from 53% failing in math to 60, eighth graders from 64% to 70%. Tell me again why I'm supposed to trust the experts. The district is so focused on deep equity training, gender identity, teaching kids to focus on skin color versus character, and that America is inherently bad, you forget that your core purpose of K-12 is to educate kids, not to use for social engineering. The board policy KB is wrong, as the sharing of power is not an equal partnership between the school and parents. There is a partnership, but to believe that schools are equal in deciding what is best for a child is arrogant and wrong. 6 years ago, I could find the Constitution Day on the district website. Now it is as if the Constitution doesn't exist. America is the beacon of hope across the world and as a place to come live in freedom. America is not perfect, but where else can you find a country governed by the consent of the people? Nowhere. 6 years later, parents still don't have a voice, teachers still don't have a voice, and the union does not speak for all teachers. Children still don't have a voice. You sit up there as if talking about a commodity using terms like student and cohort. Parents are sending their children to school, not a student. Your policies are not based on a holistic approach to what is best for kids. Every one of you on September 3rd called a parent from the September 1st meeting a liar. And you wonder why so many parents are angry? Many teachers do not agree with the mask policy, but are forced to make kids comply. And like it or not, there are teachers who are abusing this authority. Is this really putting kids first, or is this about politics first? Clearly, something needs to change. I never forget children are the future of a free America, and I'm here to make sure kids receive a quality education and to make sure Thompson School District is great again. Make no mistake, I'll be back.
Lauren Jennings and Kaylee Anderson. Lauren Jennings and Kaylee, I think it's Kaylee Anderson? Callie? Is Lauren Jennings here?
Yeah, I think they have stepped outside.
And Lauren, I don't have your address.
Listed under the address confidentiality program. I'm a victim of domestic violence. That's actually why I don't wear the mask either. So that's a fact. Yes, thank you for your time, and I don't mean any disrespect by not wearing a mask, okay? Just plain and simple. So, first of all, I want to let you know that I printed off the Larimer County dashboard right before I walked out of the door that factually says that this is a recommendation still. And the reason why that is a big deal is because this COVID-19 policy on page 6 reads directly that you too have to be in correlation with Larimer County. And if you're not, you're in violation of the law. The law. It's a criminal offense at this point. It's not a matter of your opinion or how you feel or how we feel. You're violating the law. And you think, it's not funny, Pam. I'm not playing with you, man. I'm coming for you. Okay, and then let's talk about
Ma'am,
this. Pam.
I will
September
not, I
1st,
will not
in a
allow you
criminal
to
way. We're
threaten
filing a
my
criminal
board
complaint.
members. Ma'am,
That's what I mean. Sorry. Listen,
please stop.
you see this? This is a transcript from the board meeting on September 1st that proves you, Pam Howard, are in coercion, which is a violation of the Colorado law. These are your friends. We have a screenshot of all of your friends and all the transcript written out. You're guilty. You too, Lori. We have it all right here. This is on public display, and it's undeniable fact. You're in coercion. It's a violation of the law. You want to talk about board policies? This is a criminal violation. Do you read the board policies? At the bottom, it says a Colorado revised statute. That means you're legally bound to listen to us. And you keep choosing not to. You take it as a joke. We're filing a criminal complaint. We're filing a criminal complaint. Seriously, it's over. And you're in violation of the law. Criminal violation, policy 1. Criminal violation, policy 2. Criminal violation, policy 3. Criminal violation, policy 4. And they're backed by extensive evidence. 600-page document. And what can you say at this point? You're violating the law. Even the president's not above the law. This police officer out here who's being nice to us isn't above the law. You're not above the law. None of these are. And you've been coercing these folks and pressuring them over your sick tactics. Thank the Lord you're going to be off this board. But Pam, 2023, better kiss that date goodbye. You better kiss it goodbye. We're telling you to resign. Period. You have violated the law. And you guys are on our Facebook page, posting it all out. Post that you're in violation of the law. Post that. Talk crap about us in that way. Talk crap about us in that way. Post our names about how you're in violation of the law. And it's a criminal offense. And we're filing. Not an idle threat. Totally a thing. 600 pages, man. It's on. It's on. You guys better start rethinking what you're doing, man. And that's the end. Here it is for everybody to see. Your coercion, your coercion. And for the sake of those people, I'm not going to name their names. I'm not going to name their names for their privacy out of respect, but it's going to be submitted to the court of law as factual evidence. That is it's so illegal. Illegal.
Thank you, your time is up.
Shame on both of
Okay,
you.
next I have
Shame on
Kelly.
you.
Ma'am,
Absolutely shame on
ma'am,
you.
your time is up.
Shame on you.
Next I have Kelly Anderson and Maddie, no, I'm sorry, Maddox Haskell. Hold on before you start, please, ma'am. Next is Maddox Haskell. Is there a Maddox Haskell here? Okay, is that you? Okay, so you're next, I'm sorry. Okay,
You're good, yeah.
go ahead, Kelly.
Hey, my name's Callie Anderson. So I'm going to try to make this quick. You guys can look this up online. This tests the quality of air. Okay, if anyone in fire, confined spaces, HVAC, okay, we're required to wear these machines if we go into an area where the air is unsafe. Does anyone want to volunteer to have me stick this behind your mask and see the quality of the air that you're having all the kids and your employees of the district do? Anyone volunteer? Come on, raise your hand. Anyone else, come up here. So right now the air is safe, okay? So any mask, I don't care if it's cloth, whatever it is, put your mask on. So when this beeps, it's not safe to breathe. So in violation of any OSHA, thank you so much.
Of course.
Any OSHA, any law, if anyone, fire department, any type of job, you're required to leave the area. So you're telling me that the kids and your employees of the district, they get to breathe this in for 40 hours, and that's okay with you, right? That's fine? They can just do that? I can do it with any mask all day long. It'll work. OSHA, health effects from lack of air quality control, okay? Common symptoms, illness, allergies, stress, colds, or influenza, okay? Other things, failure to respond and quickly for the air quality control, problems that lead to numerous health conditions, including irritation of eyes, nose, and throat, headaches, dizziness, rash, pain, and muscle fatigue. Okay, we have over 64 parents that are ready and already filing because of kids and headache. We have medical to prove that their doctors have signed off that they now are having chronic nosebleeds, headaches, and all these symptoms because of the masks. Okay, so again, the criminal things that are coming against you guys it's not a joke. Okay, this is not just my opinion. This is on the OSHA website, and it actually links to the CDC website because they say the exact same thing. So you guys are requiring, you're mandating, you're going above the law to require people to breathe in air that is tested to not be safe in any working environment, and you're doing it to minors. There's another little notch on there, okay? You're doing it to minors. Also, if you remember from the last meeting, I was the one that came up and said the masks that you are providing to the schools are made with formaldehyde, things like that. So, Pam, this is not to do, but if you look on the OSHA website, and I'm just saying this for your own safety, this mask that you're wearing, if it does not have NIOSH on the side, that mask is made in formaldehyde and with the fiberglass, just like I said last week. It's the brand of mask it is. So if you don't trust it, I would go test it. Okay? Also, you guys are not listening to the children. They told you about what's happening at Turner Middle School. In the last meeting, you guys said it was hearsay, and you guys didn't investigate it. And these kids are proof that
Thank
it
you. Your
actually
time is
happening.
up. Maddox, you're up. And then I have, it looks like Dwayne Hummel and Jenny Mishler. So I've got Maddox, Dwayne Hummel, and Jenny Mishler.
Hi, I'm Maddox Hazlitt, and I am a student at Turner Middle School. I am against the masks. I love my school and all the teachers and staff that work in it, but I literally have seen people being pulled into the library. It used to be like 5 times every class, and you guys are here telling me that it's not happening. My friend, I'm not going to state her name for her privacy, but she is allergic to the cloth and the masks. And you guys are forcing her to wear it, even though she is allergic to it. You guys are making us kids feel guilty or nothing. Because if we don't wear a mask, it gets our teachers that we love and care for in trouble. You guys are forcing us out of guilt to wear a mask. America is supposed to be a free country where you guys listen to everybody. But here you're not listening to anyone. If myself or others don't have masks on, or if we're not wearing them properly, they will take us into the library. And recently, at one of my math class, one of the staff members came in and said that if we don't wear a mask properly, they will force us online and force us to a different district or school. This is not acceptable. I could go on and on and on about everything about these masks that is wrong. Look around the walls of this room. There's pictures of kids and families smiling and stuff. You see those faces? We can't see them. So all of this, we can't see any of it. And by the way, in the school milks, there are mold chunks of mold inside them. At lunch, we make a game of it and try not to throw up by dumping them into our lunch trays. Maybe focus on that instead of making kids
Thank you,
feel
Maddox.
miserable and guilty.
Next is Dwayne Hummel and then Jenny Mishler. Dwayne and then Jenny Mishler.
Dwayne Hummel, Berthoud. My 4 sons are the my 3 sons are the 4th generation to graduate from Berthoud High. Not all of them were taught, but not all 4 generations were taught by Stu, but unless he remembers further back. But I have grandchildren that are on track right now to be the 5th generation. I'm pretty excited about that. I noticed in your mission statement that challenges and inspires student, facility staffs, and parents is part of it. You've certainly challenged the parents, I can see that. And what have we learned about this school board this year? Well, I've watched meetings online, and on 9/1, the 1st of September, was my first in-person meeting. The first lesson I learned was I showed up a little after 8, or after not, a little after 6, and when I arrived, I was told by school security that the room was at capacity. I informed them that I was going to go on in. It wasn't filled to capacity. It was about like it is now, maybe a few more people. So I'm a little surprised that we are paying security, school security, to turn away tax-paying citizens. That was kind of an eye-opener to me. The other thing I learned was that masks are not a biohazard, and no special measures are needed to contain the snot, saliva, or spittle of any of our children. We can just throw them in the trash on the way out. I'm not sure. I used to be a janitor when I was a young man. I'm not sure that's real healthy for your janitorial staff. I think if they're containing all these biohazards, they should be treated as a biohazard. Lesson 3, it's okay to violate the fire code at Turner Middle School. And yes, Lori, it did happen. There's actually video of it, not just the video that the school has, which we had taxpayers paid to have, and where you could count the number of kids going in, but actually some students shot video of it. So it exists. It really did happen, although I've heard you guys say, no, that wasn't a thing. And I would like somebody, has anybody looked back to the security cameras from Turner Middle School? I guess not. It's probably not real. And the fourth thing that I've learned from watching all this, not necessarily a parliamentarian, Lori, more of a bully, as I've watched you at these meetings. You state clearly, you have Pam state clearly, that you won't answer any questions or comments, and yet you consistently, when you tap your little gavel, you storm out and take your elected board with you, you come back, you have to make a comment. You also had Pam, you allowed her the personal, what did we call that, Pam? Where we got to do a personal statement, and you allowed that because she's on your side. I want to say the vote is coming, but if you don't have time to vote now, vote with your feet and leave R2J.
Jenny Mishler, and then Valley Hummel.
I'm Jenny Mishler. I won't give my full address. You have it on the sheet. I'm a resident in Berthoud. Probably recognize my face from the last time, and I intend to show up every single time here on out. What I will say is I'll start off positive. Last time you guys had me so emotional I didn't stick to my script. I'm not going to do that this time. I do want to thank Dr. Schaefer because he's one of the few on this board that are present that I truly believe has our children's best interest at heart. He shows up and he pays his dues. The rest of you, I have a hard time believing that, other than Jarrett. Jarrett has tried to speak up and has been steamrolled by the rest of this board. The first thing I want to ask is, where's the research back into the evidence with the masks with the fiberglass? I have a kid that's given a mask every day. Are you truly giving her with something with fiberglass in? Did you guys look at that? I've not seen anything back on that. The other thing I want to talk about is the unsubstantiated hearsay was the actual term used on that Friday morning meeting when Jarrett tried to mention that we were turning our teachers into masked sheriffs and whether or not the issue at Turner with the library really happened. I have a text message from my student from the library. It did happen. It's not unsubstantiated hearsay. It happened to my student and it's real. And it didn't just happen once, it happened multiple times. Aside from that, the call-in comments were very hand-selected, so hand-selected that the one calling in from Massachusetts was none other than Pam Howard's daughter, the pediatrician. Ironic, right? I want to get back to focusing on learning. Are you aware that a substitute teacher in a facts class at Turner Middle School was terminated, the rumor is, for throwing scissors at a student and for slapping an 8th grader? Don't know how embellished that has gotten, but that's gone on pretty much all year. That teacher called me 3 weeks ago, told me she still didn't have access to Infinite Campus and wanted my students' help in controlling a classroom. My student. Rather than stand up here and argue about masks, can we please get back to figuring out how to educate our children? Those that you're quarantining have no access to any education. They're being sent home packets and work. They're supposed to teach themselves for 2 weeks? My student's getting ready to go to high school. You take her out of the classroom for 2 weeks, she's supposed to self-teach? What are we creating here? I want to get back to learning. The greatest thing I had in Thompson School District as a student 25 years ago was that I didn't know the political affiliation of any of my teachers. Not a one. They taught me history as it stands, even the ugliness and the ugly truth. Can we please get back to that? Lori, sweetie, your days are numbered. Election day's coming, and the rest of you better rethink where you stand on situations as well.
And then I have Charlotte and Thomas Capon.
I'm Valley Hummel. I live in Berthoud. Both of my kids attended Berthoud schools, Turner Middle School and Ivy's. Sorry, frog in the throat. But I just wanted to come up here and inform you guys that I pulled both of my kids out of this school district. I'm not happy with the way you guys run it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that that's what I've had to do. So, thank you.
Charlotte and Thomas Capon are the next two.
Hi, my name is Charlotte Kay. I am from Berthoud. I would like to start my address with a quote from a famous politician. He alone who owns the youth gains the future. I was a student at Turner Middle School. I say was because I had to leave your school district because of how your teachers were treating. The second week I was there, you made a mask mandate. I did not wear a mask because I have medical conditions that make it so I can't wear masks. And because of that, I was segregated and sent to the library. When I attempted to use my rights to speak freely, I read the 14th and 15th Amendments. My Constitution was ripped out of my hand, and when I tried to video what the staff were doing, the teacher took my phone. Then, just to make my day even better, the teacher said I was a terrible person and I was a horrible child. Then she told me I was going to kill everyone in the school, and to quote the same politician again, if you tell a big enough lie and tell it freaking enough, it will be believed. You say that you're supposed to keep a student safe and protect us from the big bad bullies. But you and your teachers are bullying me and all those other students in the district. How does that work? A lot of your students left because of those actions. When I tried to show my staff my 504 form, the teachers took it and ripped it to pieces, destroying my property. When I was in school, I had to go home multiple days because I had massive headaches due to the masks. The classroom being above 90 degrees. When I used to love school, but now I don't. You have ruined school for me, and fortunately, it's too late. It's too late for me. But I will fight for all the other kids in your school district, including my older sister. I hope you're happy now that you ruined my love for school. And one last time to quote the famous politician, Adolf Hitler, when diplomacy ends, war begins. Thank you for all your consideration.
Thomas Capon and Kayleen. One second. Thomas is up, and then I have Kayleen McNevicek. Thank you. Go ahead, Thomas.
Hi, my name is Thomas, and I'm from Berthoud. I'm here to represent the kids of Turner Middle School who have just spoken, and those who are sent to the library, berated, told to write an essay about why they should wear a mask, told that they were going to kill all their classmates and their teachers, and that they are terrible and horrible children. All of this while your staff at Turner Middle School goes maskless. Your investigation into the incident being a phone call to a teacher who refused to incriminate herself or her cohorts is unacceptable. Denying that this happened is not empowering your students. Putting all of those kids in the library at the middle school and almost 60 kids into the commons area at the high school is not challenging your students to achieve. When you have a teacher, Mr. Sommerfeld, who brags to his class that he himself has sent over 9 kids to the common area for mask violation, is not inspiring your students to excel and is not congruent with this board's or district's mission statement. When a student points out that these actions go against what the superintendent's statements were about how the mask mandates would be handled, and the teacher states that the superintendent is not their boss, we have a problem. When we have middle school teachers throwing scissors at students, we have a problem. When we have a high school teacher dragging a student down the hall by their backpack, we have a problem. When teachers spend more time policing masks and talking about COVID than they do teaching, we have a problem. We have a problem when we have board members, family, and friends calling in to further their agenda. That problem starts here. That problem starts with this board. A board who refuses to believe the children when they are mistreated. A board who sold our children into mask mandates for $18 million. How much will it cost to sell our children into mandatory vaccines? What else are you willing to sell our children into? How many children have to be mistreated, abused, or assaulted before the board is willing to look into an incident? Your mission statement is mindless drivel. It is here a lip service to this community that makes you feel good about what you do. I have lost faith in this board, and based on your staff and your actions, you do not have our children's best interests at heart. With that said, I call for the immediate resignation of everyone on this board. We have no confidence in you, we have no trust in you, and you have not shown 1 ounce of diplomacy. And like my daughter said, when there is no diplomacy, there is war.
Kayleen, and then I have McKenna and Tom Whitting.
Good evening, board, district, and community members. I'm Kayleen McNavicus, and if you don't already know that name, you soon will. I stand before you today because I'm fed up like many other parents here. I'm the mother of 3 beautiful, intelligent, and strong-willed school-aged children. I have raised them to love fiercely, care deeply, embrace their differences, lend a helping hand whenever possible, and most importantly, stand up for what they believe in. Unfortunately, this school district has made it impossible for them to voice their opinions or even show their faces for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. What you didn't know was that by silencing them, you would wake an army of mama and papa bears who are ready to rip apart the system and fight for their children's freedom. May the odds be ever in your favor, Thompson School District. Now let's get to some facts. The Larimer County Department of Health has not mandated wearing a mask on a county level. As a community, we are welcome to walk into any building without a mask with the exception of medical facilities. Where did I go? Oh, and this one, yeah. Yet here you are telling our children that their school is no longer a safe place to learn unless their face is hidden behind a thin piece of cloth. We are 18 months into this pandemic. If masks worked as well as we had been led to believe, wouldn't we have been done with COVID over a year ago? Would we still be saying, tag, you're it, to teachers and staff as our children rotate through an endless merry-go-round of in-person and remote learning? I think that question answers itself. As it stands today, the most recent outbreak has not taken a single child from our community from this earth. Let me repeat, not even 1 child in Larimer County has passed away since the start of this surge. And our population is now at 369,377 people. The youngest person to succumb to the virus in our county was a 26-year-old Loveland man on February 13th, 2021. Other than that, no one under the age of 47 has lost their life in the recent past due to COVID. Let that sink in as you force our children to suffer for 8 hours daily, breathing their own carbon dioxide while trying to comprehend what is being taught. I will end this all by saying that we live in the United States of America, land of the free and home of the brave. If you believe that wearing a tiny piece of fabric over your nose and mouth will protect you from getting sick, by all means do it. I am not here to take that from you or your children, and I support your choice wholeheartedly. The difference is that you stand up there and say that I don't have a right
Thank you,
to
Kayleen. Your
raise
time
my
is up.
children the way I believe is
Next
best.
up is McKenna Whitting
That is
and then
not
Tom Whitting.
American. That is not freedom.
Your time is
and
up,
that is
Kayleen.
not going to work for
Your
us as
time is
parents
up.
any longer.
Your time is up.
Thank
Next
you.
up is McKenna Whitting and Tom Whitting.
My name is McKenna Whitting. I live in Berthoud, Colorado. Being in class with a mask on is not fun, and it is very distracting to my learning. Our schools aren't air conditioned, and it is already so hot in our classrooms without a mask on, but when we have to wear a mask, it is 10 times hotter, and a lot more difficult to understand what our teachers and classmates are saying because of the mumbling of the masks. And us kids always have to re-say what we're saying because our teachers can't hear us. Do you think that's a good way to live in this world of school? A lot of us kids already don't like being in school for 8 hours each day, and then some of us have sports after school too, and I'll get to sports soon, but having to wear a mask in school for 8 hours, makes schooling even less fun. We are literally breathing in our own carbon dioxide, which doesn't keep us safe. It is putting us in more danger. I don't even like to cough or sneeze in class because I feel like if I do, then kids will judge me or look at me saying, "Oh my gosh, she has COVID." Do you really want us to be living in this world with not being able to see our friends' faces at school, not being able to smile at someone that's maybe making their day a little better if they're having a bad day? Well, like I said earlier with sports, kids don't want to play sports because we have to wear masks. It is so hard to breathe in those masks already, and when we are working hard or running or whatever sports we're playing and we have to wear a mask, it is so hard to catch our breath, and we just want to take them off because it is so hard of it. We shouldn't have to play like that. We should be able to play without masks. Let us breathe fresh air. Stop making us breathe our own breath. Let us be free. We should have the choice to wear them or not. It's our body, our choice, not yours. And at our school, we literally have teachers every day coming up to us, "Put your mask on, pull your mask up." It is getting so annoying, and we've had the mandate for 2 weeks. It's not fun. Put your mask up. Do you have a mask? Here's a mask. We don't need masks thrown in our face every single day. Thank you for your time.
Tom Whitting and then Heather Van Bentham.
All right. I actually wrote down my words this time, which I did not do last time. So, good afternoon. Tom Whitting, Berthoud, Colorado. I'd like to start by saying thank you. Not necessarily to you guys, but to all the parents out here showing support and speaking up for what we believe is best for our kids. Lori, I'd appreciate your attention, please. Thank you. All the warriors out here trying to get you folks to actually hear us. But to no resolve. It's like talking to a brick wall. Well, we're tired of talking to a brick wall. The wall that you guys have built up in front of us. You want masks? Sure. But there's no problem. We're not against you wearing them. We're not against parents who want their kids to wear them. That's fine. I want to make my words very clear. To you and to all the others who call us anti-maskers, anti-vaxxers, whatever it is you want to call it, we are not against you or anybody else wearing a mask. Not them, not their kids. If you want to wear a mask and it helps you feel safer, by all means, please wear a mask. Wear 2 masks. Wear 5 masks. Hell, wear a hazmat suit. I don't care, okay? I don't care. And here's some very important words. Please listen carefully. I don't care. That is your choice. We want our freedom of choice back since you've taken that from us. As I said before, we're tired of talking to a brick wall. Jarrett, Barb, Lori, I hope you guys are all tired of sitting up there and listening to us week out, or meeting after meeting, hammering on you guys. Because come November 2, which is in 41 days, by the way, not that anybody's counting, we're busting down that wall. So, and we're planning on taking that empty seat too.
Heather Van Bentham, then Ashley Bradbury.
Good evening, Heather Van Bentham, Berthoud. Mrs. Copeland was one of the toughest, most demanding, and therefore most effective teachers I had in high school. She had a saying, just because you say it doesn't make it so. It meant you couldn't just make stuff up and expect to get away with it. Not in her class. You had to do your research. Earlier this week, CNN asserted that there are 4 words that are massively driving COVID misinformation. Do your own research. I think I'll stick with Mrs. Copeland. What's research? Asking questions, seeking information. I could list so many questions about COVID, but here are just a few. They're rhetorical, but we all need to keep questioning. When Larimer County Public Health Director Tom Gonzalez spoke to the board September 1st, he spoke movingly at having gone to the hospital and seeing all the sick patients, full rooms, and even the black bag. I would have asked him whether all those sick people were there for COVID. He didn't specify. Why not? Why did Pfizer unblind their trial in December 2020 and give the vaccine to 93% of the control group, effectively eliminating the control of the trial? The FDA approval for Pfizer's Comirnaty includes requirements for further safety study and reporting to be completed by 2025. Are you comfortable accepting something for which the safety studies are not yet completed? The National Institutes of Health just announced plans to study vaccine effects on menstrual cycles. Anything that affects the menstrual cycle affects fertility. Why has the messaging been so vociferous that the vaccine has no impact on fertility? How exactly have the bureaucratic scientific elite and pharmaceutical industry convinced you that the vaccines are safe? How have they proved that they do what they say they do and don't do what they say they don't do? They don't have years of study, so how have they proved this to you or to any of us? Just because you say it doesn't make it so. Regardless of how you feel about this vaccine, you have no right to tell anyone else's child what to put into his or her body. Once you have injected something into a body, it can never, ever be removed. I feel for the responsibility that you bear. You don't want to be here. I get that. I don't want you to have to face yourself if these young people end up with myocarditis or are unable to have children of their own. You must leave this to the parents, and you must codify that officially, or else you leave the door open to putting in a mandate in the future. Please do not do a vaccine mandate ever. Thank you.
Ashley Bradbury, and then looks like Becky Bradbury.
Hi, my name is Ashley Bradbury, and I am a senior at Thompson Valley High School. The first thing I would like to say tonight is that I have been wearing a mask all school year, and I am feeling healthier and safer now that they are required for everyone to wear. So I'd like to thank the school board for taking steps to make school a safer place for students to be. My story is very similar to the stories of many other students across the world. My whole last year was shut down due to COVID. I wasn't able to participate in theater or music because of COVID. All of the concerts were canceled. Thespian Conference, Combined League Choir, and All State were all canceled last year as well. This is my senior year, and with COVID cases beginning to rise, I'm worried that these restrictions will have to be put in place again. I have hopes this year that I will be able to go to concerts, go to games, be in musicals, and even get the opportunity to go to prom. I understand that last year's restrictions were all important for maintaining health and safety at that point in the pandemic. However, I know that this year we have a solution. I'm here today to talk about the possibility of requiring vaccinations or weekly COVID tests for those who choose not to get vaccinated. Okay, today I've come here in order to encourage the school board to implement policies that reflect that the safety of everyone is of the utmost importance by putting in place these requirements. I would like to start first by naming a list of vaccines that are currently required for all students to attend schools in Colorado. These vaccines include hepatitis B, diphtheria, tetanus, pertussis, inactivated poliovirus, measles, mumps, rubella, and varicella, chickenpox. Requiring these vaccinations is an important step for ensuring that students are going to school in a safe and healthy environment, and the COVID-19 vaccination is no different. On August 23rd, 2021, please stop. On August 23rd, 2021, the FDA officially approved the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine for individuals who are 16 and over. This vaccine has also been approved under the emergency use authorization for those aged 12 to 15 years of age. This demonstrates that the vaccine is a safe and effective measure in eliminating the spread of the COVID-19 virus. The Los Angeles Unified School District recently started requiring vaccinations for all students who are 12 and up. I hope that the Thompson School District will also take the health of the students and teachers seriously by requiring vaccinations. The sooner this measure is implemented, the sooner that the number of hospitalizations and deaths will drop, and students like me will have the opportunity to have a normal school year. We now have the power to end this pandemic, and all we have to do is have the guts to try. Thank you.
Becky Bradbury is next, and then I think it's Jenny Lopple or Jerry Lopple, and I apologize if I misread the name. Hi.
I'm Becky Bradbury. I live in Loveland, and I've been a Loveland community member for most of my life. Raised 3 kids going through the Thompson School District, and now my youngest daughter is a senior at Thompson Valley. I would like to thank all of you for managing this really tough situation with the pandemic on behalf of our students. I know it hasn't been easy for you, but I appreciate your aligning with science in order to keep our children and teachers safe. So thank you for that. This situation obviously is a really tough one for everybody, and it's not enjoyable for the children in the schools or the teachers having to enforce masks. I know for my daughter, I just hear about it secondhand. So I hear about students refusing to wear their masks or not wearing them properly, teachers having a tough time enforcing it. And in fact, at times, my daughter doesn't even want to go to class because she's worried about the spread of COVID, and she's worried about conflict with other students who are refusing to wear their mask. So I'm here to ask the school board to consider requiring vaccinations for eligible students at Thompson schools to kind of put an end to this limbo that we're in right now with the pandemic. The FDA has now approved the Pfizer vaccine, and the other 2, Moderna and Johnson & Johnson, are approved for emergency use. The LA School District is now requiring vaccinations for eligible students. UC Health is requiring vaccinations for all employees. And on September 9th, President Biden issued an executive order requiring that federal employees and contractors also be vaccinated, in addition to any employees of companies over 100 people. Vaccines are effective if enough of the population is vaccinated to prevent the virus from finding new hosts to infect. It's clear that if vaccines are not required, compliance will be limited and the virus will continue to infect people and mutate potentially into more dangerous strains. I'm confident the school board will implement a science-based approach when determining vaccination requirements for students, but I'm here to show my support for a COVID vaccine requirement for Thompson students. The time is now to implement this requirement and put an end to the unsafe and conflict-ridden environment that our kids are dealing with at school right now.
Last up is Jenny or Jerry Loppel. Guessing Jenny? Okay. Apologize.
Good evening. My name is Jenny Loggle, and I am a parent of a high schooler in this district and a teacher of young students in this district. I speak tonight as an educator of 20 plus years for all of the other teachers and parents who are wanting the truth and logic about mask mandates to be heard, but yet are trying to keep their jobs or kids in school and stay in person. Please believe me when I tell you that there are many, many teachers and families that I speak for. I'm concerned mostly because in education we've already gotten rid of God. We're slowly seeing examples of losing America as we've known it, and families are now under attack with mandates. As it is written in 2 Timothy 1:7, that we have not been given a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And I am truly sympathetic to all who have suffered, but unfortunately, because I have been willing to listen to other perspectives and not live in fear as much as possible, and I have learned that the truth we think we know isn't quite the whole truth. It's not quite the whole truth. Part of our district's goals for Strive 2025 is that we help our students become critical thinkers and to evaluate and analyze ideas and informational sources, but I don't see how they will ever do that if we ourselves don't know how to model it by looking at all the data and perspectives. We continue to hear one narrative of what will work, but we continue to be the country with the worst results. It's time to open our minds to other perspectives and all of the science. I hear the mainstream media narrative, of course, but there are also professional industrial hygienists not being heard. This is their job. They've proven that cloth and disposable masks do not stop aerosolized viruses and that they only stop large particles of bodily fluids in healthcare settings. They only wear N95 masks, and as soon as someone coughs in one, they must change them out immediately. They have felt all along that this is a huge red flag and that it's not at all about health and safety. They say there has never been a blanket one-size-fits-all mandate like this before. So what is the agenda really? Mostly for teachers like me, how am I supposed to reassure the kids in my class success and that I'm smiling when the part of me that shows joy in letter sounds the most is covered all day? Majority of the day, they don't see me smile at them or make silly faces, and it truly breaks my heart. There's not enough evidence to justify our students having to live their lives this way. In the time of Hitler's regime, a book was written titled How to Kill 11 Million People, written by Andrew Andrews. And there's a few chilling remarks, like how fortunate for leaders that men don't think. Make the lie big, make it simple, keep saying it, and eventually they will believe it. Isn't that what we're hearing now? What we do is for your safety. Okay, so I absolutely love teaching children, and I do not stand up here questioning to be disrespectful to any families or you. Rather, I'm simply trying to use my critical thinking skills to implore you today to continue to really look at all the science and all perspectives.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe we have, that's the end of the in-person public comment. I believe we have call-in comment. Matt? Board, is it okay if we just continue on and then maybe we'll take a break after that? We'll see how it goes. Go ahead, Matt.
Hello, this is Susan McNally, address 3105 Rocky View Drive in Loveland, Colorado. My comment is, I'll use my phone number, 970-227-6036. My comment is I don't think children should be wearing masks in school. The masks are going to be on and off and be wiping up things from other kids, the bathroom, everything else. It's a lot more dangerous to their health than not wearing a mask and breathing fresh air. Also, I don't believe in vaccinating the children unless it's the parents' choice. I think that given the data from the Larimer County and nationwide, it has been shown that children under the age of 18 have hardly any access or problems with the COVID-19. So I don't think it's necessary. The youngest one that passed away, given Larimer County's data, was 27. So, I mean, it shows that, it's really not a big deal with kids. If you're going to use the ICUs are busy, it's probably because the nurses are tired. They don't want to get vaccinated. They don't want to wear a mask all day. Everyone in general is just worn out, tired of this. This is nothing but the National Teachers Union pushing this agenda. And I just wanted to go on record that I am against those three things, as well as teaching CRT. What's wrong with classical teachings? Thank you.
My name is Deb Stringari, Stringari, 441 Chateau Court, 80538, 719-240-7181. I'm calling about the face mask mandate that you've forced upon our children, and it's nothing short of child abuse. The virus is real. There is a vulnerable population in our community, but it is not the children. There is no disputing that. The vulnerable population should protect themselves. The children should be allowed to breathe, communicate, interact, and learn. What the 7 board members have voted to do to our children is criminal. You are affecting an entire generation, instilling fear and anxiety. I don't care if Boulder's doing this. We're the only country in the world doing this to our children. We've had enough of the nonsense, and we're not going to back down. Stop this madness now. Thank you.
Bruce Fishburne, 620 East County Road 12, Berthoud, 970-217-1926. I think Lori Ward made an excellent point at the last scheduled meeting when she went to recess in the middle of the public comment session. And upon resuming the session, she insisted to explain that masks limit communication. This violation of her own rules, which state the board is not to respond during public comment, proved to justify precisely the concerns of the previous speaker about the negative impacts of the mask mandate upon our children. Read the package. This product is not effective against COVID-19. So what is next? Mandating a vaccine that Jared testified during the emergency session was ineffective, in which he commented about the faculty shortages among the vaccinated who tested positive for COVID. The fact the board has been unanimous in these decisions implies none of them have the wherewithal to look after our children. For it is written, woe to those who call evil good and good evil, who put darkness for light and light for darkness, who put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Woe to those who are wise in their own eyes and shrewd in their own sight. Isaiah chapter 5, verses 20 and 21.
Hi, this is Brandon Strauss, S-T-R-O-U-S-E, 674 Rugged Rock Road, Loveland, Colorado, 80537, phone number 303-591-0287. Calling in regards to the mask mandate for students. As a parent, I do not believe that is something that should be mandated by the school district, and rather should be parent choice, as other ones in the local area are doing. I feel several parents are looking towards moving their children to other options, including ourselves. Thank you.
My name is Christian Contreras, 1211 West 36th Street, Loveland, Colorado, 970-261-2183. We have tried to speak to you emotionally, rationally, logically, scientifically, and personally, which means you members of the board only have your own agenda in mind. So we are done talking and are ready to replace you with someone new and not handpicked by you. So my questions tonight are, which side of history do you think you'd be on? Would you have hidden Jews from the Nazis? Would you have helped build or destroy the Underground Railroad? Would you have told Rosa Parks to sit back down after she said no? Would you have been blonde hair, blue-eyed, but followed a man that wasn't? Why can Polis have his wedding without masks, but mandates everyone else to follow a different set of mandates, which are not laws? Maybe it's time to start filing criminal charges against our elected officials. They have us so scared and civilized now that we can get away with the Boston Tea Party. We the people will not be silenced. Maybe it's time to start filing criminal charges against those companies blindly following this misleading agenda. We were civil and asked for our freedom of choice. And for you, the board, refused to honor our freedom, as we were honoring yours. Your solution was an ultimatum. Either we comply or face your unlawful wrath. How many of us have chosen to take our kids completely out of your machine? How does that hit the financial books? Or was the COVID money received already compensated for that? Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Kelsey Byron from 205 Southeast 2nd Street, Berthoud, Colorado. I'm calling in today to make public record alarming information I have gathered. Last week, TSD sent home an email with the subject, Healthy Kids Colorado Survey. To most, that sounds very benign. Note that this is a survey with no classroom discussion and will take an hour away from our students' learning time. Information obtained from the survey will be given to the state for the benefit of financial gain by the district. Upon examination, the 100-question survey for our 11 to 14-year-old students included questions like, some people describe themselves as transgender when their sex at birth does not match the way they think or feel about their gender. Are you transgender? Have you ever made a plan about how you would kill yourself? If you wanted to get a drug like cocaine, LSD, also called acid, amphetamines, or another illegal drug, how easy would it be for you to get some? What is the highest level of schooling your mother completed? Interestingly, it doesn't ask the same about the father. When I contacted the school district about the suggestive nature of the survey questions and inappropriateness of asking children about these matters, they sent me to Chief Academic Officer Dawn Huckabee and Director of Student Success Jennifer Gussels. They said the survey has a consent form, which serves as an opt-out option. This is an oxymoron for all of those academics in the room. I asked why it wasn't a permission slip, and they notified me that little kids lose permission slips. So TSD often uses passive consent. Parents, please read every email. Please look out for your babies. After my inquiries, and I'm sure that of many others, they have decided not to perform this violation of our innocent children's autonomy for now. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Vicki Schubert, VICKISCHUBERT. I live at 88 Cheetah Place. My phone number is 970-581-4006. My topic is regarding masking and the board's responsibility. Nelson Mandela said, "There can be no keener revelation of a society's soul than the way in which it treats its children." According to that, the soul of our society has become that of an abusive parent. American adults, or at least the ones who make the rules, such as yourselves, have willingly been punishing innocent children for over a year, and they continue to do so. We see unmasked people in mass at award ceremonies, galas, sporting events, and concerts, yet our little children sit for hours each day in their classrooms with masks on. They are the ones least impacted by this virus. They are the ones least likely to spread the virus, yet they are the ones most impacted by mask wearing, all because the adults in the room are living by fear rather than by fact. The CDC's policy appeases the leaders of teachers' unions but disregards the guidance issued jointly by UNICEF and the World Health Organization, which says children aged 5 years and under should not be required to wear masks. This is based on the safety and overall interest of the child and the capacity to appropriately use a mask with minimal assistance. The groups also advise against masks for older children when physically active. Children should not wear a mask when playing sports or doing physical activities such as running, jumping, or playing, so that it doesn't compromise their breathing. They also recommend that children wash their hands each time after they touch their masks. Is this being required? Also, I wonder how well any of you would do wearing a mask while engaging in athletic activities, especially those done in an overly hot gymnasium. At a recent board meeting, one of you made light of the fact that wearing a mask caused your glasses to fog up. Everyone laughed. Consider, though, how irritating that must be for the child who is trying to get their seat work done, write their paragraph, or read their book. Their glasses must fog up multiple times a day. That must be nothing short of an exercise in frustration. Masks hide teachers' lips and muffle their speech, negatively impacting the development of children's linguistic skills and hindering student success. Mask wearing prevents children with hearing impairments from lip reading, compromising effective communication and learning. Masking obstructs the ability to read facial cues, causing teachers and students to misinterpret one another.
Good morning. My name is Brian Karen. We live at 2526 North County Road 29, Loveland, 80538. My phone number is 707-301-9411. I'm calling regarding mask mandates. The intent behind the mask mandate is good. We keep hearing that the intent is to keep people safe and keep people in school. The reality is that this particular form of a mandate is causing more harm than good societally. Forcing young learners who desperately need the concepts of enunciation and pronunciation to wear cloth masks at predetermined times and places is destructive to their learning. Test scores and general aptitude is down, in large part due to masks. Public school enrollment across the board is down, largely due to masks and associated policies. We say we're protecting people. This virus is extremely survivable, and statistically, almost nobody dies of just COVID. Young kids literally lick windows for fun. They trade masks. They put things in their mouths. Sometimes they don't wash their hands as well as they should. We stomach watching football stadiums filled to capacity in the tens of thousands without basic precautions, yet we're willing to muzzle our youngest people who can't speak for themselves. Pretending masks are the ticket to saving humanity and preventing a viral transmission is a joke. Anxiety, depression, and mental illness is trending upwards in Larimer County and across the world. Mask mandates absolutely contribute to this, and saying that there isn't data supporting that assertion is the ultimate form of stubbornness. In addition to the data and the science that we're always told we need to follow, common sense also says that when people are hamstrung developmentally, bad things happen. If you remove the mandate and make the policy a strong recommend, you still allow people the freedom to choose and assess things based off of different scenarios, just like we always have. Removing the mandate portion of the policy and attaching a strong recommend to it aligns with Larimer County guidance. We keep hearing that we want to keep people safe, keep kids in school, and that we're following guidance from experts. But it's clear that the mandate portion of the mask policy isn't achieving those goals, and the long-term consequences are troubling. There's more harm than good. Please consider this. If the mask policy was optional and people were convinced that masks are effective and not destructive, everyone would be running around wearing a mask. So please remove the mandate. There's nothing more un-American than unfounded mandates.
Good morning. My name is Christina Caron. Last name is Carran. I live at 2526 North County Road 29 in Loveland, Colorado, District A. My phone number is 970-669-6769. My topic for this message is mask mandates. I have 3 young children in the district, and I am concerned that the mandates and the direction of the district is going is causing more harm than good. I will spare you the data from Larimer County that suggests these types of mandates are not only ineffective but unnecessary. Instead, I'm asking that you truly make the effort to hear our concerns about how this is negatively impacting our children and their future. One of our children is very shy and quiet. Under normal circumstances, he is difficult to hear, let alone behind a mask. He is anxious to learn and wants to participate, but when he doesn't feel heard, he shuts down and retreats into a shell. It erodes his confidence and makes him less likely to participate the next time. Over time, this type of breakdown in communication and confidence leads to inhibited learning, social withdrawal, anxiety, depression, and for some, suicidal ideation. I'm concerned about the messages we are sending our children. Through these mandates, we are teaching our children to be afraid of hugging their friends, to be afraid of taking a sip of water, to be afraid of asking questions and speaking up. We should be empowering our children to ask questions and to make informed decisions. Instead, we are teaching them to blindly comply. This is extremely dangerous on an individual, community, and global scale. We are teaching them that they don't have autonomy over their own body. When we teach our children not to speak up, not to say no when they aren't comfortable, or that someone else decides what happens to their body, we are setting them up for things like sexual abuse, domestic violence, and more. We are teaching our children that bullying and coercing people into submission is okay. We are teaching them about social responsibility and inclusivity, but only if it aligns with the views and opinions of those in positions of power. Inclusivity and social responsibility need to be met on all sides, and despite what's been painted, there are not just 2. I do not envy your position. As board members, your decisions carry an extremely heavy weight. I know your goal is to keep children in school, but there is a better way to do this without negatively impacting the long-term development of our children and our future generations. Please find another way and consider the weight of your decisions. Thank you.
My name is John, Jon Miller, Miller. Address 3105 Rocky View Road, Loveland, Colorado. Email contact is John, Jon, Hook, Hook, all one word, @gmail.com. My topic is mask mandates for TBS students and why we should not force kids to wear masks to prevent COVID. I'll start by citing Larimer County's website on COVID that shows the youngest person to die of COVID was 26 years old during this entire pandemic. This shows that children do not die from this virus. Now, yes, there are data that kids have died. I think there's several hundred nationwide, but probably from other reasons. All right? Topic 1. Topic 2 is there's a study out of Israel, recent study, big study, that shows natural immunity, so people who caught COVID and survived, have a 27 times better chance of not catching COVID than people who just have the vaccine. So our immune systems are much better at this than the vaccine. Children, since they don't catch or don't die from this virus, why would we not want them to have an immunity that is 27 times greater than what we can offer in a vaccine? So wearing a mask, and you can argue whether masks are useful or not. I think masks on kids would probably cause more problems than they're worth. But why would you do that to prevent this virus, right? So my recommendation is for these young people, do like we do with other cold and flu viruses, and we've done it forever. Allow them to contact and contract the virus naturally if they're going to. Allow their immune system to fight the virus and build strong immunities. and then revert back to the normal rule of thumb that I think even our grandmothers used to say is, if your child has a fever, then they should stay home until the fever subsides, because, as Grandma used to say, they're catchy. And then just allow nature to run its course and allow children to grow healthy immune systems. Will there be some that maybe has to go to a hospital? Yeah, maybe. But man, that's so few and far between. The data shows that children are not affected by this. So please, do the right thing and don't force our kids into these mask mandates. They're more trouble than they're worth. I can just imagine what a kid can catch from their dirty mask that they dropped on the bathroom floor and then put it back on their face. And that happens. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hello, members of the Thompson School Board and Dr. Schaefer. My name is Caroline Borkert. I live at 3484 Maplewood Lane in Johnstown. I'm calling today regarding the mask mandate, and I thank you for taking my call as I'm unable to attend board meetings due to previous engagements on Wednesday evenings. I did debate whether it was worth calling. I'm starting to believe it doesn't matter anymore, but I wanted my side documented at a board meeting officially. I have written to the board and Dr. Schaefer about the mask mandate. I received no response from the board. My correspondence with Dr. Schaefer and his office made me realize that they feel their hands are tied, that because they are funded by the government, the schools are at the mercy of the guidance put out by governing officials, and without a mask mandate, they are threatened with being shut down. I wanted to fight that. I wanted to argue that the governing authorities are not always right, and that we shouldn't allow them to shut us down regardless, but ultimately felt that it was futile to take that battle with Dr. Schaefer in his office when we're talking about who cuts their paycheck. That said, my question to the board is, what about you? What does the county health department hold over you that you feel threatened? At what point do you stand up to the governing officials and fight for what's right for our children, when their governance is clearly not backed by the science? When the science shows our kids are far more likely to die in a car accident on their way to school than they are to die of COVID? When the science says that masks cause more harm to children than good? When the science says that mortality rates and infection rates are on a decline and lower than they've been since March of 2020? I hope when I vote for school board officials, I'm voting for people that do their homework, refuse to be threatened, and who will take up the stand and fight for our children according to the science. And that's what I'm asking you to do. Follow the science, not the governance. Stand up to the county health department and lift the mask mandate and keep our kids in school. Thank you for your time.
That's the last comment.
That brings to an end public comment, both in person and board. I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and do the action consent items, and then we'll take a short break. Okay, great. So item 5 tonight is